Porsche 911, nice, nice. BMW M3 with an LS swap. All right. Bees for Bill dropped a new video today. What? You go, Chris. Oh, hey, hi. Welcome to Low Key Builds. Hey guys, I'm super excited to introduce to everybody my current project. Right here behind me is my 1970 BMW 2002. I purchased it in early 2018 for only $800. At that time, it was the cheapest BMW 2002 in the USA that I could find. My goal is to have this car built, finished, and looking awesome in just 12 months from today. While 12 months sounds like a long time, trust me, this car needs a ton of work. In today's episode, we're going to pull this car out, get it started, and take it for a test drive. After that, we're going to go over my plans and how we're going to turn this rusty old car into something more like this, or maybe this. So now let's get our hands dirty, get to work, and take a closer look at this 50-year-old BMW.
Definitely wasn't going to just kind of pop that section back out like I wanted it to. So
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here she is. Got all the car parts taken off of her, got her backed up and cleaned up a little bit. Looking pretty good. Overall, it's not that bad of a shape. All the panels are straight. There's a little bit of rust down here on this front nose panel down in here. I'm thinking it's actually quite a bit of rust once you get into it. And then up here in the nose panel, there's a bunch of body filler in there that's cracking. Overall, the grills are pretty straight. These older cars have metal grills. These are looking pretty good. Down the side of the car, it's pretty straight. As we go down, you'll see this wheel well down here. It's a little bit of rust right there. I think we got plans for that. A little bit of rust up here. The interior is pretty nice. It's got these Recaro seats. Put them in here last year, looking pretty nice. The door panel on that side is kind of trash, so I have it off right now. The dash is pretty nice. It's that 3-piece dash from the older cars. Super nice looking. I like those real old style dashes. This car has a ton of rust. Let's take a look at some of the rust down here. This car has a ton of rust down in there. You can see that there's a hole right there. And I mean, look at that rust. I don't know if that's a speaker hole or what that is, but and then down around here, around the foot pedal thing, just a ton of rust. There's a lot of work to be done. You can see there's a hole right down there, a big hole right there in the middle of the screen. This side isn't as bad, but it's pretty bad. Dashboard has some cracks here. Let's focus that. So we got a plan for these cracks here in the dashboard. But very vintage. I'd say the ceiling, I mean, the floor panels are okay as far as like you can buy that floor panel metal right there, which I think we're going to have to end up doing and welding in new floor panel metal. The roof is a whole nother situation here. You can see we got rust right here behind the sunroof. It's the same story on the other side. Rust right there behind the sunroof right there. And so what that is that's where, and this is going to be really ugly. See how ugly that is? Here, let's brighten it up a little bit. So these cars, this original color on this car was right there in the middle of the screen, that dark blue color. These cars had that, it was called Atlantic blue was the color. But then all these cars came from the factory with this like glued on sound deadening material, kind of like a thin foam. And what it did over time is end up being something that attracted or held in the moisture. So you'd get a lot of rust on the roof of some of these older cars. And this rust right here, that's where the metal, the support beams, the support connectors of the roof connect to the outer sheet metal of the roof. And so right there is where metal on metal is contacting, and you're getting that rust that goes all the way through. Fortunately, I have a spare roof from my 1976 BMW 2002. And it's got a completely functioning sunroof that works 100%. Even though the lower half of this car was really rusty, the roof was relatively rust-free. So I don't know exactly if I'm going to take just the skin of this roof and put it on this car. I think that's the plan. Or maybe just components of the roof. So that's yet to be determined, but that'll be a whole episode or more in and of themselves down the road. Let's take a look at the back of the car. So here is the rear of the car. You can see we have 0 rear tail panel right there. In a heated moment, I went crazy and cut the rear tail piece off the back of the car. That's this guy right here. That's what used to be on there. My rectangular style brake lights right there. And what I purchased directly from BMW was a brand new rear tailpiece. So there it is. I bought that about a year ago, and apparently you can't get them anymore. I do have a nice set of brake lights over here to use. They're in really good shape. So this is my current project, something I'll be working on soon. Let's take a closer look at this here. I'm going to set the camera down here and open the trunk. All right, so here it is, the trunk of my Beamer. And you can see I've taken a lot of the old paint off. In this trunk there was a lot of rust. There was a rusty old rear tire, spare tire tub right here. I cut this thing out, cut it all the way out along the edge there, and installed a new one. That was my first experience welding. It taught me a lot. It was a lot of work. So after welding in the new spare tire tub, there's like orange, blue, primer, white, at least 3, maybe 4 different colors back here. I had planned on trying to grind down all the old paint and get this whole entire rear section of the car down to bare metal, and then painting the entire trunk area, and then welding on the rear tail panel and moving on to the rest of the car. This grinding away, what you're seeing right here, this is probably, I don't know, 10 hours of grinding, of just nonstop grinding, and burned up one grinder in the process, bought a new one. Just really a ton of work. So doing this grinding here has made me decide to move to a different direction. Probably going to just have the entire car media blasted. And so for now, I think what I'm going to do before I test drive is just throw down some primer paint on all this bare metal just to help protect the car from rust. And then we're going to come up with a temporary solution for the brake lights so we can do our test drive and move on to the next step. So, but here it is in all her glory. And I'll go back to the other side of the car. This rear fender is looking pretty good. A little bit of rust right in there also on this side. The rest of the lines are pretty straight. One problem I do have right here on this hood, I don't know what happened here. If somebody tried to break into the car. People get into the car this way by lifting it here, and people get into the engine bay that way. And I don't know, somebody like yanked on that or something with a tool, or what exactly happened. And it's looking pretty gnarly right there. So my solution is this hood right here on the wall. So that's going to be my solution for that. That hood is going to get media blasted and painted, and that's going to be what goes on the car eventually. So that's that, ladies and gentlemen. There she is. Let's see if we can get some spray paint in the trunk there, get some primer, protect that raw metal from rust, and get some temporary brake lights on and take it for a test drive. Oh, and we got to get the battery in too. Hey guys, well, we've had a slight change of plans. I've decided that we're going to go ahead and just get this rear tail panel installed on my car before the test drive instead of after. My original plan was just to take a 2x4 and strap it to the back of the car, attach some old brake lights to that, and kind of just drive around the neighborhood. After talking with somebody from the local Oregon chapter of the BMW Club of America, I found out that they are hosting a Cars and Coffee here this Saturday. That's 3 days from today, including today. And I've decided, you know what better venue and what better goal to have to get this thing installed before then and show up to the Cars and Coffee with my 1970 BMW 2002 looking like it's supposed to look, being round taillights in the back instead of the rectangular ones. So I think it's a great goal. It's going to be a lot of work, but we're going to go for it. Along with getting this thing installed and having it secure, because it's going to be forecasted to be raining on Saturday, I'm going to have to make sure that we get it as waterproof and watertight as we can make it. So that's the goal. We've got about 3 evenings to get it done. Let's get to work. Okay guys, what I was doing right there is I was using some white touch-up paint and making little dots here on the places that I'm going to drill so that the next time I have this panel back in the car, I can weld right on those little spots right there. So I'm going to take the panel out drill those holes, and then we'll be one step closer to getting this thing welded in. See some more over here, little dots right there. So hopefully that's going to work out. Not a lot holding that corner in right there, but hopefully that'll be strong enough. It'll be welded up here too, so that should be pretty good. Hey guys, so now we need to remove this rear panel, and we're going to do some undercoating material and some POR15 in the areas that are going to be hard for the Media Blaster guy to get to. And then we'll be one step closer to getting this thing welded back on. Hey guys, well, it's Friday night. We only have a few hours left to get all this stuff done. In a few minutes I have a friend coming over. He's going to help me hold the rear tail panel in place while I do some of the real important TIG welds. Before that, I want to do my POR15. I need to drill some holes in the back of the rear tail panel. I also want to repair a little tiny hole that I found in the back of the spare tire tub that's going to be a lot harder to get to once the rear tail panel is in place. So here we go. It's going to be a lot of work. Let's get to it.
Start
Well guys, we did it. We finally got this rear tail panel installed. I'm so stoked. It's been about 1.5 years since I cut off the incorrect tail panel that was on the back of this car, and I really couldn't be happier with the way it turned out. I was a little nervous. My welding skills aren't necessarily, I'd say amateurs here. I'm a little bit below amateur. So, I was a little bit nervous, but it turned out okay. The welds are super strong. I don't think that rear tail panel is not going anywhere. I think there's a couple additional things I can do to make it even stronger, but for now, it's good enough. And super excited to be on the way to the Cars and Coffee here. I'm meeting up with my friend Carlos. He has a really nice 1969 red BMW 2002, kind of his little project car. He also has a 74 TII, which is really awesome. But at the Cars and Coffee today, he's bringing the red one. So that should be fun, and see you when we get there. I love this car. Looking good, Carlos. Don't ding my car.
Hey guys, well, that's pretty much going to wrap up today's episode. My 1970 BMW 2002 is now officially a Roundie again, and I'm super stoked about it. Also, in case you're interested, I put links down in the description of all the different products used in this video so you can check them out. Remember, for whatever you're doing, keep it low key. Dang it.